There's a person in your head right now. You didn't invite them. You can't make them leave. You think about something else, they come back. You go to sleep, they're there. You haven't spoken in weeks, maybe months, but your brain won't let them go. This isn't weakness. This isn't love. This isn't obsession, but your brain is doing this on purpose. And the reason nobody ever told you, here's something nobody told you. Your brain has a dedicated system for other people, not for objects, not for places, not for memories, specifically for people. In 2001, neurologist Marcus Raichle at Washington University made a discovery nobody expected. Every time a participant stopped doing a task, the same brain region lit up. Every single time. He called it the default mode network because it's what your brain defaults to when nothing else is happening. And what does it simulate? Relationships, interactions, conversations you haven't had yet, conversations you wish had gone differently. Most people think that when you zone out, your brain rests. It doesn't. It immediately starts running simulations about the future, about the past, about people, specifically people who matter to you. This isn't a glitch. Your brain is doing this on purpose because for 300,000 years, other people were the most important variable in your survival. Not predators, not food, people, whether someone liked you or didn't, whether someone trusted you or didn't, whether someone was going to be there tomorrow or wasn't. Being rejected from the group didn't mean embarrassment. It meant death, no shelter, no food, no protection. Your brain learned that losing someone's approval was a threat as real as a predator in the dark. That's why it never stops tracking. That's why it never fully lets go. Your brain learned to never stop tracking that, and it still hasn't. But why this person? You know hundreds of people. Why is your brain stuck on this one? The answer has to do with something called an open loop. Your brain is a pattern completion machine. It takes enormous satisfaction in finishing things. A resolved conflict, a conversation that ended well, a relationship with a clear conclusion. When something is unresolved, your brain cannot let it go. Bluma Zeigarnik first documented this in 1927. Watching waiters in a Berlin cafe, she noticed something strange. Waiters could remember every detail of an order they hadn't delivered yet, but the moment the food hit the table, they forgot it almost instantly. The unfinished task stayed active in their mind. The finished one disappeared. Psychologists named this the Zeigarnik effect. And your brain works exactly the same way with people. If this person left without a real ending, if the conversation never happened, if the words were never said, if you never understood why your brain keeps the file open, it keeps returning to it, searching for a resolution that never came. And every time you try to push them out of your mind, you actually make it worse. Here's why. When you tell your brain, don't think about them, your brain has to think about them to know what not to think about. It's the same reason that if I tell you right now, don't think about a white bear, you just thought about a white bear. Suppression doesn't close the loop. It keeps it spinning. There's something even deeper happening here. When you think about this person, really think about them, your brain isn't just remembering them. It's running a simulation of them. Neuroscientists call this a mental model. Your brain has built an internal version of this person based on every interaction you've ever had with them, every expression, every word, every silence. And this model runs independently inside your head. It predicts how they would respond to things. It generates their voice. It imagines their reaction to things they've never seen. This is why you can have entire conversations with someone in your head that feel completely real, because to your brain, they are real. The simulation is running on actual neural patterns built from a real experience. Think about the last time something reminded you of them, a song, a smell, a street. You didn't choose to think about them. It just happened. That's the model activating, triggered by external input. Your brain mapped them onto the world around you, and now the world keeps pointing back to them. And here's the part that changes everything. When someone disappears from your life, the model doesn't disappear with them. It stays fully loaded, waiting for input that never comes. Your brain keeps pinging the model, updating it, running scenarios, because it was built to maintain relationships, and it doesn't know the relationship is over. It's like software that keeps running after you've closed the window. The process is still there, still consuming memory, still generating output. You feel it as thoughts, as images, as that strange pull you get when something reminds you of them. That's not sentiment. That's a neural process that was never properly terminated. But here's the part that makes this unbearable, and it's the part nobody talks about, because thinking about this person doesn't just feel painful, it feels slightly good, and that combination is exactly what makes it impossible to stop. When you think about someone you have strong feelings for, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical released by food, by music, by any reward your brain has learned to anticipate. Dopamine isn't released when you get the reward, it's released when you anticipate it. And your brain has learned to anticipate something from this person. Connection, validation, a feeling you associate with them. So every time you think about them, a small dopamine hit, not enough to feel good, just enough to keep you coming back. This is why a song can destroy you in 3 seconds. Your brain doesn't hear the music, it hears them. It fires the same anticipation signal it always fired when they were close. And for one moment, the reward feels possible again. Then it isn't. And you think about them again, hoping the next time will feel different. Neuroscientists call this intermittent reinforcement. And it's the most powerful conditioning mechanism the brain has. It's the same system that makes gambling addictive. Not because you always win, but because sometimes you do. The uncertainty is what hooks you. With this person, your brain is waiting for a reward it learned to expect, and it keeps returning to the thought of them hoping this time it will come. This is why moving on is genuinely hard. It's not emotional weakness. It's a dopamine loop that was built by real experience and hasn't been replaced yet. So how does it stop? Not by force, not by distraction, not by telling yourself to move on. The loop closes when the brain finds a resolution, real or constructed. Psychologist James Pennebaker at the University of Texas ran a series of experiments in 1986. He asked people to write about their most painful experiences for 15 minutes a day. Within days, their brain activity around those memories measurably changed. Writing forces your brain to construct a narrative. A beginning, a middle, an end. And narrative is how your brain closes loops. It's not magic. It's giving your pattern completion system what it needs. You are not processing emotion. You are giving your brain the ending it was looking for, the one it never got. And once it has that ending, it stops searching. The second thing that works, and this sounds counterintuitive, is to let yourself think about them on purpose at a specific time. Set 10 minutes. Think about them fully, then stop. What you're doing is teaching your brain that this thought has a boundary, that it starts and ends, that it isn't an open emergency requiring constant attention. Over time, the loop becomes a memory. Active processing becomes passive storage. They don't disappear from your mind. They just stop running in the foreground. Your brain wasn't built to forget people easily. It was built to track them, model them, keep them alive inside you long after they're gone. That person in your head right now, they're there because your brain decided they mattered, and your brain doesn't let go of things that matter. This isn't a flaw. It's the price of having loved something real, of having let someone in far enough that your brain built a version of them and kept it running. Most people spend years trying to force themselves to forget, but forgetting was never the goal. The goal is to let the process finish, to give your brain the ending it needs so it can finally file this away, not erase it, just move it somewhere quieter. But now you know what's actually happening. And that changes something. Knowing doesn't stop the process, but it changes your relationship to it. Instead of fighting something you don't understand, you're watching something you do. And that distance, that small gap between you and the thought, that's where it starts to lose its grip. Because you've been living with this feeling your entire life without ever knowing why.